Hi everyone. Well, listen, y'all don't talk about my robe on my hat. I work from home, so this is what I get. This is what you get when I work from home. But I wanted to come over on here and talk. It's not like a story time, but if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But I want to talk about my incarceration. Like sometimes, a lot of times, people don't believe me when I say that I did 10 years in prison. Um, I guess because I don't look like the type that would go to prison or anything like that. And then um, the type of career I have now, or even the career that I had before I got locked up. Well, I got locked up when I was 23 for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in Texas. I got into a fight at a strip club. I know y'all guys thinking like, what are you doing in a strip club? Well, I was in the military, and it's this whole story about strip club because eventually I started stripping too. I was stripping and I was in the military. Like I said, I was 23. I was young. I was dumb, but you couldn't tell me I wasn't dumb. I thought, like most young people, that I knew everything under the sun. I did not come from a bad family, a broken home, or anything like that. I was just cocky, arrogant, stuck up, and very, very like snobbish. Um, but if you guys want to know the story, please let me know. But yeah, I did. So, as I was saying in my previous video, I got arrested when I was 23 years old for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So, what happened was, I was in the military. So, let me get this out right now. First and foremost, Um, I did not get a dishonorable discharge or anything from the military. My military um, career was basically completed. But while I was in the military, I started dancing. So how that happened is a group of friends and I went out to the club, and you know, it was, if you were in the military, it's a group of girls and there'll be a group of guys. Nothing sexual or anything like that. We was all just friends. And one night at the club, they used to have, if you're familiar with Killeen, Texas, Fort Hood area, back in the day, they used to have this club called City Lights. So City Lights would do like an amateur strip thing. And so I did it. Well, my friends had hyped me up and I had did it. And keep in mind, I'm not a drinker or anything like that. I never have been. Um, so I got up there and I did it. And I won $150 prize. That was the first place prize. I won that prize in like a minute, and plus people was tipping me. So that's how I started stripping while I was in the military. So it was like I was living a double life or whatever. So time goes on or whatever. And I remember getting back from New York, Brooklyn, and I was supposed to go and dance in Austin, Texas, but I didn't want to. I wanted to go back to Killeen, and it was around Christmas time. It was right after the 9/11 attack or whatever, and I ended up going to this one club called Teasers. So while at Teasers, keep in mind it was my first night there. I had never danced at this club before, but one of my friends, she had danced at this club. And me and another female got into an altercation. I really don't want to bring race into this, but I feel like it plays a part in it. Um, it was a white girl I had an altercation with because the majority of the dancers there were white, besides me and my friend and then this other girl. Anywho, we got into it or whatever. Long story short, I was like, you bad? Then hit me. If you that bad, then hit me. She did. When she did, it was a wrap. I beat her up. Point blank, period. They end up kicking me out and letting her stay, even though my friends was like, she's not the one that started, meaning me. I wasn't the one that started it. So I never had an anger issue or anything like that, but I had an ego issue, if you know what I mean. So I end up leaving, and one of my friends was like, "No, we're gonna wait till the club closed, and we're gonna go back up there. And we're gonna be the." So that's what happened. Me being the stupid person that I am, I was like, you know what? I'm going to her up or whatever. I end up cutting her on her face, on her arm, and on her back. Well, after that happened, I end up calling my parents and letting them know what happened. And like I said, I didn't come from a bad family at all. And I feel like, in certain ways, I feel like you shouldn't spoil your child, because I had it bad for, okay, like I was saying, I had it bad for, I guess I was entitled. I was entitled. I was young, dumb, entitled, like very, very snobbish, thinking like nobody could touch me, nobody could do anything to me, because my parents they've always been there for me, and whatever I wanted, whatever I needed, they got it for me. If I got into any like trouble at school, anything, I was able to get out of it because of my parents. Anyway, it wasn't like that with this situation at all. But anyway, I called my parents and let them know what happened. And they was like, you know what, come on home. Come home. And that's what I did. But I ended up getting extradited from Georgia back to Texas. And when I got to the county jail, of course, they was charging me with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I had got a court-appointed attorney, and that wasn't right. That just didn't. No, I'm not getting a court-appointed attorney. So my parents ended up getting me an attorney. I know, like, I'm not going into, like, I don't want y'all to be here forever listening to this. That's why. But I end up getting a paid attorney. This attorney told my parents, like, oh, she'll just get probation or whatever. Keep in mind, my parents were in Georgia. I was extradited back to Texas. So they weren't there to stay on the attorney's butt or whatever. And then, like, nobody in my family has ever been in trouble, so they really trusted the attorney. When it came down to my court date, keep in mind that the lawyer told my parents, yes, drive down here, come to her court date. You guys are gonna take her home. She's never been in trouble before. Had never been in trouble. Never been in trouble a day in my life. So I go to court or whatever, and I get on the stand, to tell my side, and the judge sentenced me to 14 years. I don't think I would have got, I think I would have got probation had it been that I got into a fight with a black female. I honestly do. And the reason being is because when I had went to prison, it was so many people there with the same charge as me, worse that were like black on black crime, and they was there, they had got probation first, or they were there for 2 or 3 years, but I had got sentenced to 14 years. But I'll never forget, the judge told me on the stand, after I gave my little testimony or whatever, she told me, Siobhan, you were in the military. You knew better. And for that reason, I'm sentencing you to 14 years. I was shook. I was shook. Y'all hear me? I was shook. Oh my God. Like, I didn't know what to do, how to react or whatever. But I'm not saying going to prison is a good thing, but it also taught me a lot, because like I mentioned in previous videos, I was a beast. I was stuck up. I would turn my nose up at people, everything. But prison taught me that everybody in prison really don't deserve to be there. Some people, they grew up bad. Like, They didn't have any guidance. They didn't have no one to teach them. They were just a product of their environment. So yeah, like I was saying, when I went to prison and I seen all of these different people, people that were on drugs, people that was homeless, people that didn't have parents, it just opened my eyes to, number one, how blessed I was, how stupid I was, how judgmental I was. In my personal opinion, the universe will put you in a place sometimes so you can learn. It really made me sensitive to people in general, and I try my best not to judge people and try to look at the bigger situation, because sometimes it's just not surface level. It's not surface level. So I end up doing my time or whatever. When I was in, I did go to college, and the first thing I asked them when I went to college, like, when I get this degree, is it gonna say Lane Murray unit in Gatesville, Texas? Because that's where I was at. They was like, no, it's going to say the college that you went to. I said, okay, cool. So while I was in there, I did take the time to go to college. Once I got out, I continued my education. And how I got into the reason why I chose the career that I did, which is human resources. I do human resources and I do recruiting. The reason why I got into this field is because when I first got out, I couldn't find a job. Yeah, I could not find a job. Like, I was trying, and I did not want to give up. It was so hard. Every day, I would just be praying to God. I'd be trying to get a job. And my first job was Taco Bell. And if you know me, I am not a fast food person. But it was one of my friends, and they helped me get that job. I stayed at that job about 2 weeks. So I was at that job for about 2 weeks, and then I got another job interview. This interview was at the mall, and I would be doing hair and makeup for, I know y'all remember that Glamour Shots, when Glamour Shots was open. So I did that for a while, and keep in mind I was still going to college. It wasn't until I moved from Fort Hood, Killeen area to San Antonio, the doors started opening up for me. I became an executive assistant for this really, really bougie retirement home. Like, when I tell y'all guys it was bougie, it was bougie. Like, these people was living their best life. I did that. And then I end up getting a job working at the AT&T Center after I left being an executive assistant. If you're familiar with San Antonio, you know that the San Antonio Spurs play there. So I end up being their lead supply coordinator and their auditor. I did that for a while, but then I got into recruiting. The reason why I'm so drawn to recruiting and human resources is because I feel like I have the ability to give people chances. People like me that have been locked up before. People that just need that one little thing to get them started when they get out. I had the ability to do that. And what's crazy is when they interview, of course, they don't say, hey, yeah, I've been locked up before, but it's something in them. I guess it's their mannerisms or a look that they have that I know that they've been locked up. So I try to give them, so I always try to give them a safe place so they can, be open and honest with me. And I just try my best to help them get their job. So now I've been in recruiting for some years now, human resources for some years, and I have climbed up the ladder. But another thing I've done is I've spoken. Like, I've actually, the first time I ever went back into the prisons to speak with people, it was so much therapy, because this is something that, like, I was very embarrassed about, because I have a lot of friends that never got in trouble. And most of my friends were in the military with me, and they were doing so good. So I always felt like I had to play catch up or whatever because, I didn't grow up like that. I've never been in this kind of situation before. So I would not stop until I got to the top. That was my drive. But I also was able to go back into the prisons and talk to other women because sometimes I just feel like they get the short end of the stick. They get jobs and there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart, McDonald's, or anything like that, but that's not what everyone wants to do. I just strongly believe that if you give someone a chance and you give them a job at something that they really want to do and something that they can grow in, the recidivism rate to go back to prison would be very low because you're giving people a chance. There's a lot of people out here that's so judgmental. I changed my mindset on a lot of things. I'm not a Christian, but I do believe in God. I believe in the power of my ancestors. I believe in the universe. I believe that things happen for a reason. I believe that things happen for a reason. And I don't know. I see things different now. I try to treat everybody with kindness. Like I was not always like this. I try to put myself in certain situations. Like if something happens, like how would I feel if I was in that position? So I don't judge nobody. It's a lot of mean and evil people on the internet, and I just don't understand. Like, how can you hold that much anger or have those ugly opinions about somebody that you don't even know? So I guess my message in this is treat everybody nice, treat everybody with kindness. You don't know what they're going through. And the next thing is you don't know everybody's story. You don't know everybody's walk. It's not the same. Nobody would ever think that I went to prison. If you were to meet me on the street or even if we're going to look at material things, if you look at material things alone or my job, you'll be like, oh no, not her. But yes, me. I'm no better than nobody else. Trust and believe. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody deserves to be forgiven. That's why I was going so hard on that Unc story, Unc and Naya, because everybody can change. And if you are one of those people that don't believe everybody can change, that's on you. That's what you got to deal with. So, bye, guys.